We've all seen this before. A big storm comes through, the wind picks up, you hear zinc sheets rattling, doors start banging, and the next morning, someone's roof is gone. People usually say, yo, the wind was strong. But that's not the full story, because the wind didn't just push the roof. In many cases, the wind actually tried to lift it off. That's the part most people don't realize. When wind moves over a roof, it doesn't behave the way we expect it to. It doesn't just hit the building from the side, it flows over the top. And when air moves fast, something strange happens. The pressure above the roof drops. Inside the house, the air is calmer. So now you have higher pressure inside and lower pressure outside. And that difference tries to pull the roof upward. So when a roof comes off, it's often not because the wind was violent. It's because the forces acting on the roof were stronger than what was holding it down. Let's demonstrate pressure difference in an easy to understand way. Right now, I'm holding 2 sheets of toilet paper. They're just hanging there. Nothing special is happening. The air around them is still, so the pressure on both sides is the same. Now, watch what happens when I blow between them. I'm not pushing them together. I'm blowing in the middle. And you can see it clearly. The 2 sheets move towards each other. That surprises a lot of people because we expect moving air to push things away. But here, the opposite happens. When air moves faster, the pressure in that moving air becomes lower. So when I blow between the sheets, the pressure in the middle drops. The air on the outside is still calm, so its pressure is higher. And that higher pressure pushes the sheets inward. Nothing magical is happening. It's just the pressure difference. This is exactly what happens on a roof during strong wind. The wind speeds up as it flows over the roof. The pressure above the roof drops. Inside the house, the air is much calmer, so the pressure stays higher. That difference doesn't push the roof down, it tries to lift it up. And once you understand that, roof damage during storms start to make a lot more sense. Now, here's something you might have noticed before. When roofs fail during strong wind, they usually don't lift from the middle first. They start lifting at the edges, at the corners, along overhangs. That's not random. When wind flows over a roof, it doesn't move evenly everywhere. At the edges and corners, the wind speeds up even more as it wraps around the building. That means the pressure above those areas drops even further. Inside the house, the air is still relatively calm, so the difference between the inside and the outside is greatest right at the edges. That's where the upward force is strongest. This is why the first signs of damage are often roof sheets peeling back from the corners, fasteners pulling loose near the edges, overhangs lifting and flapping. Once the wind gets under even a small part of the roof, the problem gets much worse very quickly. The opening lets more air in. The pressure inside rises and the roof is pushed upward even harder. That's why roof failures often look sudden. The damage starts small, but once the balance is disturbed, the forces increase rapidly. Before we talk about why some roofs fail, it helps to understand what a typical roof actually is. A roof is not one solid piece. What you see from the outside is actually thin sheeting or tiles. Those sheets don't flow on their own. They sit on a supporting structure underneath. That structure is usually made of timber or steel, arranged to span from wall to wall. And that structure doesn't hang in the air either. It sits directly on top of the walls. So a roof is really a system with sheets on top and a structure underneath and walls below that. All of these parts are connected. The roof doesn't stay on because it is heavy. It stays on because it is tied down through this system. When wind acts on a roof, it doesn't see roof sheets only. It sees the entire system from the sheets to the structure to the walls. And the strength of that system depends on its weakest connection. When one part lets go, the forces don't disappear. They move on to the next part. So if wind affects all buildings, Why do some roofs get ripped off while others stay exactly where they are? The answer is not luck, and it's not just how strong the wind was. It comes down to how the roof is connected. A roof is not meant to sit on a building by its own weight. It has to be held down. That holding down happens through connections. Roof sheets are fixed to timber or steel. That structure is fixed to the walls, and the walls are tied into the rest of the building. When those connections are weak, missing, or poorly installed, the roof becomes the weakest part of that system. Once the wind starts lifting at the edges, it tests those connections first. If they hold, the roof stays in place. If they don't, the roof begins to separate, sometimes sheet by sheet, sometimes all at once. This is why two houses next to each other can experience the same storm, but only one loses its roof. The difference is not the wind. It's how well the roof was tied down. Wind doesn't need to destroy a roof completely. It only needs to break the weakest connection. After that, the rest follows very quickly. So, when you put everything together, roofs are not designed to fight wind by being heavy. They stay in place because they are properly connected. Every part of the roof has a job. The roof sheets must be fixed securely to the structure below. That structure must be firmly connected to the walls, and the walls must be tied into the rest of the building. When all of those connections work together, the roof can resist the forces trying to lift it. When even one part is weak, the system is compromised. This is why roof failures often start small: a loose sheet, a weak fixing, a poorly secured edge. Once that connection fails, the forces increase and the damage spreads very quickly. Wind doesn't remove roofs because buildings are badly built. It removes roofs when the forces acting on them are stronger than what is holding them down. Hi everyone, the South African engineer here. If this explanation was useful, please like the video, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Every subscription is a brick used to build the Engineering Explained house. Let's build this house together. Thank you for watching.